Hello, hello, hello. Margaret Lloyd here with Eternal Shift, New Life Ahead. All right, so we're going to finish this week off with self care. How we take care of ourselves, not how we take care of other people. Because self care and self love is an ongoing practice that involves treating yourself with kindness and respect. You can show yourself self-love by practicing self-care. I want to look at something real quick. Let's look at the definition of respect. Respect is a feeling of admiration or high regard for someone or something. It can also refer to actions that show esteem. Hey there, Snickers. Respect is a positive feeling or action that shows high regard for someone or something. Respect can also be defined as treating someone with regard for their abilities and worth. Respect can also be defined as accepting someone for who they are, even if you don't agree with them. So respect goes both ways. You need to show respect and give respect. You can show yourself self-love by practicing self-care. Take care of your physical and mental health by eating well, exercising, getting enough sleep, being kind to yourself. Use encouraging statements instead of negative statements. Forgive yourself. Celebrate your accomplishments. Absolutely. Setting boundaries. Decide what's important to you and stick to your boundaries. Practicing self-acceptance. Embrace yourself, including the parts you don't like. Because none of us are perfect. We all got parts of us that we don't like. I don't like that my hair doesn't do what I want it to do when I want it to do what I want. But it is what it is, and so now I just accept it. It is. It does what it wants to do. And that's okay. Taking risks. Believe in yourself and your ability to handle the outcome. That's what I did when I left my ex-husband. I was scared. I was scared to death. I'd been with him for 38 years. I'd never been on my own. I didn't know what to do. But I did it, and I'm here 2.5, almost 3 years later, and I'm here. I'm alive. I'm well. I've dropped 90 pounds, kept it off for almost 2 years. So believe in yourself and your ability to handle the outcome. Because you can do that. You can handle it. Doing things you enjoy. Absolutely. Make time for activities that bring you joy, like reading, going for a walk, listening to music. Creating a safe space. Make a place where you can focus on your needs and emotions. Making decisions based on your values. Consider what you value, like creativity, compassion, or friendship, and do things that align with those values. Absolutely. Self-love is a relationship with yourself that takes time and patience to build. And I will be right back. I forgot to bring in goodies for my buddy here, but she can't have any. I forgot. She can't have any because she hasn't eaten breakfast yet. So now we're going to talk about 11 ways to practice self-love that therapists swear by. It might sound cheesy, but it's pretty freaking great. By Sam Brodsky. Bear with me, my sugar's dropping. No. You can't have any popcorn. You have to eat. You need to eat your breakfast first. You hungry? Are you hungry? Oh well. She'll survive. Okay, sugar's better. Okay. So, my Aunt Suzanne won't stop raving about this holy grail concept of health, self-love, and she learned in yoga. All of TikTok seems to preach it. At least half your friends have casually dropped the term like it's a thing we're all doing now. Self-love it is. But you are not alone. If you're sort of confused by what self-love means and how to go about it, basically, self-love is when you appreciate and value you, says therapist Jaleesa Shelby. That means it's something you can feel, but it's also the actions that you take because you respect and prioritize yourself, like talking to yourself kindly, listening to what your body and mind need, says licensed psychologist Nina Pauline. And even if you're rolling your eyes right now, not me, it might be time to believe the hype. Loving yourself and appreciating you creates this healthy domino effect of showing up for yourself, Shelby says. It boosts your confidence, self-compassion, and pushes you to advocate more for how you want to be treated. She explains, self-love is giving yourself props for throwing your cousin the world's best bridal shower. Duh, you're awesome. Then it's getting a bit of space from said cousin after she brought up your recent divorce multiple times at said shower. It's called boundaries, baby. Set them. To be clear, it's not like you cheer yourself for waking up after your first AM alarm and all of a sudden you're walking through the world always happy. Or holding yourself in a positive light forever, says Dr. Pauline. It takes a lot of work to avoid the negative thoughts trying to convince you that you aren't good enough or not worthy, she notes. But if actually doing self-love still seems a little nebulous, here are some specific ways to take care of yourself, protect your energy, and do what makes you happy. Get to know your big emotions, because we have them all. Self-love means paying attention to your feelings rather than dismissing and minimizing them, says Shelby. One tool you can use for self-discovery is journaling, because you can pinpoint what's truly going on in your head and figure out how you can best care for yourself through those emotions, she notes. When you feel rage, anxiety, envy, or even happiness knocking, let yourself write a free-flowing mess of words or follow journal prompts to learn about what might be causing them, what you need. You may sense rage bubbling up before bed. You're not sure why. Journaling can help you realize that while you're angry, that you have to work tomorrow and you despise your job. Underneath that, you're really just upset that you don't have time for yourself anymore. That's what it is. So maybe you decide that you'll be more intentional with your nightly me time. That's what you have to do, is you just need to be more intentional with your me time. FYI, it's common to discover uncomfortable things about yourself that you were maybe hoping to keep buried while journaling. Like you envy your boss's power and picture getting her fired more than you think you should. Learning about your emotions, no matter how icky they seem, is self-love. So try to be proud of yourself for that. Create a mood-boosting playlist. While it's healthy to acknowledge your emotions and sit with those feelings, we don't always have time or space to do that. And even if you do, at some point you'll need to stop yourself from slipping into a downward spiral, says Shelby. That's why having a curated list of motivational, calming, and feel-good music at the ready is the perfect way to lean into self-love when you're blah, bummed, or triggered. For example, sort through your music streaming service of choice and create a perfect mix of pump up songs. And when those feelings strike and you're not ready to deal with them, you're telling yourself, hey, I see that you're feeling this way and that you don't want to right now, so I'm here for you. Let's play some Pink. Do what's meaningful to you. When you're making decisions based on what gives you purpose or what lights you up, boom, that's self-love. And it can make you happier to figure out what gives you life. Spend some time thinking about or write down your values. They could include broad themes like compassion, creativity, or humor. Or they could be something more tangible like friendship or even supporting small businesses. Then do things that align with those values, says Dr. Pauline. If you're into faith, you could volunteer in your place of worship. If travel lights you up, you could go on one trip every few years. Make an actual safe space for yourself. Creating a safe zone all your own creating a safe zone all on your own is an act of self-love because it gives you a designated area where you can focus on your needs and emotions instead of other people's. Can you make your bedroom a worry-free region? Absolutely. Can your nightly showers feature candles and Zen music? Can you chill in your car when you want a breather from life? The key is creating a space that feels good and peaceful when life is neither of those things, says Shelby. Know when to say no thanks. Getting hungry? Are you getting hungry? Snickers, are you getting hungry? Having an open slot in your calendar is not the same as having the energy to fill that slot on your calendar, says Shelby. So, if you are technically free to chat or go to lunch, doesn't mean you're down for it mentally. In setting boundaries is a form of self-love that protects your energy. It allows you to advocate for what you need and not just respond to others' needs. That could look like telling your friend who trauma dumps on you that you can only talk for an hour. Or you could hit pause on Sunday dinner dates with your dad because all you ever do lately is argue about politics. Say something nice to yourself in the mirror. Okay, here's that. I know it sounds dorky, but I do it every morning. This can be a really powerful self-love tool for people who tend to pick themselves apart. That's because you're saying the opposite of what your negative thoughts might normally blurt out, she explains. Before you leave your bedroom, bathroom, or wherever your mirror is, look at yourself in the eyes and name something about yourself that you're grateful for, she suggests. Maybe you're like, it's so awesome that I can laugh at myself sometimes. The old me could never have been so open about my feelings on a date. I embrace impermanence. I have faith in myself. Pick whatever feels authentic to you and make it authentic. Talk to yourself because it's the best thing. First thing in the morning, after I brush my teeth, wash my face, comb my hair, I'm talking to myself. Because showing up for yourself day after day is what self-love is all about. Getting into the habit of booking a daily micro moment to assess how you're doing will make a big impact over time. You'll get used to thinking about what you need before overwhelm strikes. When things are good, maybe you don't need as much attention. But when you're most stressed or sad, checking in to ask what your mind and body are asking for can help. Prioritize taking care of yourself, says Dr. Pauline. If you acknowledge that you're exhausted from going, Perhaps you'll make a pact to get more sleep this week. If you realize you've been anxious, lately, maybe you'll decide you want to do something relaxing whenever you can fit it in. Number 8, when you feel your inner critic screaming, take a hard pivot. Don't allow it to happen. Criticizing yourself after you disappoint people and or make mistakes, even if it's just for getting cheese at the grocery store, is the opposite of self-love, because you're not even remotely trying to forgive yourself, says Dr. Pauline. After all, sitting around wondering, why does everyone hate me after any perceived diss isn't super productive? Lean in a different direction when criticism shows its face. Maybe you're throwing a tantrum in your head after you noticing some typos in a presentation you gave. Try in that moment to forgive yourself for those mistakes and focus on how confident you sounded during the presentation. Sure, you might have added an extra "and" somewhere, but your boss smiled at least 5 whole times while you were talking. Go you. 9, at the very least, don't judge yourself. You don't have to shout from the rooftops that you love, you laugh, or height when that's not the case. However, leading with a more neutral view or finding value in what makes you different can boost your self-worth, says Dr. Pauline. Maybe your laugh is loud, but at least you're letting someone know their joke was genuinely funny. Be realistic with your goals. Sure, it's great to dream big. Yes, it is. But you're not looking out for you. You're constantly overworking yourself, whether or not you even reach what you're striving for. Being reasonable when you're thinking about a timeline, let your brain know that you care about your well-being, says Dr. Pauline. So give yourself a weekend to go through your entire basement of clothes instead of saying you'll have a donation pile in under 2 hours. Remember this when you're setting new goals and when you're deciding what's doable and what's not doable on your to-do list. Yay, you, for accomplishing stuff. Double yay for not burning yourself out in the process. Absolutely. Talk about your feelings. Be vulnerable. Being vulnerable about what you're going through with someone else is a major form of self-love, because you're taking the time to dig deep regardless of how uncomfortable it is, says Shelby. And on top of that, you're showing yourself that you want to work out whatever's going on with you, she adds. You can turn to friends and family as long as they have the capacity to listen. Oh, does that feel good? Does that feel good? She notes, maybe they don't have the energy to hear about your anxiety-filled day, or might want to unpack it all with a therapist. Find someone you trust who is able to listen. Okay, well, let's think on that today. We're gonna think on that and how we can implement this information into our everyday life, because self-care is what we need. We need good self-care. So I want you to work on how you can give yourself self-care. Maybe you have some other ideas for self-care. And this should be something that you, if you have any comments, other ways of giving self-care, self-love, let me know. Let me know your ideas. I love your ideas. And we'll talk some more on the rest of the week. We have Thursday, Friday, Saturday on self-care and self-love. All right? And I want you to take care of yourself. Give yourself a lot of self-care and a lot of self-love, because if you don't, nobody else will. Okay? But know that peace, love, I love you. And we're going to make it through this life. Yeah, we will. Take care. Love you.